You ever hear about Jaguar is the most powerful predator in the Amazon rainforest. Stronger, deadlier, and more feared than anything else that moves through this jungle. It hunts caimans twice its weight with a single bite. It hunts alone, in total silence, and answers to no other predator in this ecosystem. This is why the jaguar sits undisputed at the top of the food chain. The myth of size. Many people think the top predator of any jungle should be the biggest animal in it, but the Amazon works in a different way. The green anaconda can grow longer than a jaguar. The black caiman can outweigh it by hundreds of pounds. Even the harpy eagle, hunting from the canopy above, has a wingspan that dwarfs a jaguar's body. Size alone means nothing here to survive in the merciless Amazon forest. What matters is who can end a fight before it starts. And that's where the jaguar separates itself from every other predator on the continent. The bite. Here's a number that surprises almost everyone the first time they hear it. Pound for pound. The jaguar has the strongest bite of any big cat on the planet, stronger than a lion. Stronger than a tiger. Scientists have measured jaguar bite force at over 1,200 pounds per square inch. To put that in perspective, that's enough force to pierce a turtle's shell directly through the bone, and enough to hunt a caiman with a single calculated bite to the back of the head. Most predators aim for the throat. The jaguar doesn't bother. It goes straight for the brain without any hesitation. Cliffhanger beat. But a deadly bite means nothing if you can never get close enough to use it. So how does an animal built for stalking the forest floor end up successfully hunting one of the most heavily armored reptiles in the world underwater, on its own turf? The answer is the part of the jaguar's hunting strategy that even seasoned researchers in the Pantanal wetlands didn't fully understand until drone and camera trap footage started revealing it over the last 2 decades. Hunting strategy. Unlike lions on the African savanna, which often chase prey across open ground, the jaguar never wants a long chase. The Amazon's dense undergrowth isn't built for sprinting, and the jaguar knows the prey can't run and can't go anywhere. Instead, it relies on patience that borders on motionless meditation. A jaguar will lie in wait near a riverbank or game trail for hours, sometimes most of a day, reading the wind, watching the waterline, waiting for one precise moment. When that moment comes, the attack lasts only a few seconds. There is no warning snarl, no chase. Just a controlled, silent approach, and then total commitment, because in the Amazon, a failed first attempt usually means no second chance due to its density. Prey can easily hide in bushes and trees. The caiman hunt. Let's go back to that caiman hunt, because it tells you everything about why the jaguar dominates this ecosystem. Caimans spend most of the day floating at the surface of rivers and swamps, looking almost like part of the landscape, and that camouflage works against almost everything except a jaguar. Jaguars have been documented in Brazil's Pantanal region actually wading into shallow water to hunt caimans directly, something almost no other big cat in the world willingly does. They approach low, often partially submerge themselves, using vegetation and shadow as cover. The strike, when it comes, targets the back of base of the neck, the one place on a caiman's heavily armored body where the jaguar's bite can do instant, fatal damage. It's not brute force. It's surgical. The anaconda problem. Anacondas present a completely different kind of threat, not from being attacked, but from the danger of getting too close to something that can fight back by constriction. A jaguar that misjudges an anaconda encounter can find itself wrapped and unable to breathe within seconds, which is dangerous to jaguars. So jaguars treat large anacondas with deliberate caution, often avoiding direct confrontation unless the advantage is clearly theirs. This matters because it shows the jaguar isn't a mindless killing machine, it's a calculating one. Every hunt is a risk assessment, and that intelligence, as much as the bite force, is what's kept jaguars at the top of the food chain for hundreds of thousands of years. cliffhanger beat. But one question is, if the jaguar can take down armored reptiles, why don't jaguars hunt in groups, the way lions do, to make these dangerous hunts even safer? The answer reveals something almost contradictory about how this apex predator actually survives, and it has everything to do with the one resource that's more valuable in the Amazon than muscle or teeth. Why jaguars are solitary? Specifically, territory and the prey within it. The Amazon's dense canopy means prey is harder to find and more spread out than on an open savanna, where a pride of lions can share a single herd of wildebeest. A male jaguar's territory can stretch over 50 square miles, and within that range, every meal matters. Sharing a kill with other jaguars wouldn't increase hunting success the way it does for pack hunters, it would just mean less food per animal. So natural selection pushed jaguars towards solitary, territorial lives, where a single perfectly timed ambush feeds one animal completely, rather than splitting a kill 5 ways. Mother A&D cubs. The exception, of course, is a mother raising cubs. A female jaguar will keep her cubs with her for up to 2 years, far longer than most solitary cats, teaching them not strength, but technique. Young jaguars practice stalking on smaller prey for months before they're ever allowed near anything dangerous. Researchers tracking jaguar families in Brazil have observed mothers deliberately leading cubs to riverbanks repeatedly, almost as if training them specifically for the caiman hunts they'll need to master to survive independently. Conflicts with other predators. What about competition? In parts of its range, the jaguar overlaps with pumas, and even in some northern regions with black bears. But these encounters rarely end in direct conflict. Pumas in jaguar territory tend to shift their hunting patterns to avoid competition entirely, hunting at different times or in different micro-habitats just to stay out of the jaguar's way. It's not that other predators can't survive near jaguars, it's that almost everything in the Amazon has evolved to simply avoid testing the jaguar directly. That avoidance, that universal deference from every other predator in the ecosystem, is itself the clearest evidence of an apex predator's true rank. Cliffhanger beat. But for all this power, the jaguar faces a threat today that no amount of bite force or stealth can defend against, and it's reshaping where these animals can even survive. The real threat today: habitat loss. Deforestation across the Amazon basin has fragmented jaguar territories into smaller, disconnected patches, forcing animals that need 50 square miles of unbroken forest into spaces a fraction of that size. This pushes jaguars closer to farmland and cattle ranches, leading to conflict with humans that almost never ends well for the cat. Conservation groups across Brazil, Peru, and Colombia have spent the last decade building wildlife corridors, strips of protected forest, connecting larger jaguar territories, specifically because isolated, fragmented populations of apex predators don't survive long-term, no matter how dominant they are within their own patch of jungle. The bigger picture, and that's really the final piece of what makes the jaguar story so important. An apex predator isn't just the strongest animal in an ecosystem, it's the animal whose presence keeps everything else in balance. Jaguars control caiman and capybara populations, which in turn affects fish populations, which affects the entire river ecosystem the Amazon depends on. Remove the jaguar, and the forest doesn't get safer. It gets less stable. The undisputed apex predator of the Amazon isn't just a title earned through power. It's a role this animal has held and protected for longer than recorded human history in this region, and one that depends entirely on whether that forest is still standing for it to do its job. Subscribe